When you get vicious.
Yeah. This for my brothers, man. And this how we live, man. That war boy life. Huh?
Lay back chillin', dog. Yeah, I'm trying to get it right.
Yo, what's good? Where you tune into the I Don't Even Know Bro podcast with your host King Guy and your other host Mike Chacho. What up, Mike Chacho?
What's going on, bro? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Blessing, man. Today, man, we got a very important episode, man. Good episode where we want to highlight the importance of having life insurance, especially in the Black community. So we got a special guest today. He graduated with honors and earned a degree in broadcast journalism from Florida A&M University. He is a successful real estate investor, licensed life insurance agent, forex trader, and business owner that teaches people about financial literacy and how to create wealth and freedom. Today, we want to welcome Jonathan Kelly. How you doing, my brother?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me.
What's going on?
No, man, thank you for coming on, man. So, yeah, man, we want to just highlight the importance of life insurance, man. So we just jumped right into it. What made you want to get involved in life insurance, and why you think it's important for people to be educated about life insurance?
So that's a great question, man. I think for me, what got me interested was the fact that it's something that people really need to have, that we all should have, and I think I've always been into selling something. I've always been into, when I was working at Enterprise, I was selling car insurance and selling the cars itself, renting those. Then when I was at Verizon, I had to sell everything in the Verizon retail location. And I've always been used to selling something. So for me, what better to sell than something that's going to benefit somebody for generations to come, man? What is there better to sell somebody than something that's going to set somebody's family up for financial success and freedom later on in life? So that's what really got me into it.
Oh, that's dope. I want to know the steps to take to go about getting life insurance.
So the main things with life insurance is always going to be age, gender, and health. Those are going to be the three factors that any underwriter is going to always look at. They're going to look at, how old you are based off your age. What's your life expectancy? The average life expectancy that insurance companies look at for men is around 83. For women, I think it's like 85. So they're going to look at, well, how old are you and are you worth taking this risk on? And then with your health, you have to be healthy or people just won't want to take that chance. So you have to go, you basically just talk to an agent or an insurance company about doing an application. You do your application and they ask you all these different questions based off of, have you been sick? Have you been in the hospital? Have you been diagnosed with anything? Have you had these different diseases, stuff like that? Because they want to know, is this someone that we should take a risk on? Because that's all life insurance is. It's a company with billions of dollars saying, we're going to insure your life. We're going to insure your life for this amount of time, right? If something were to happen to you during this time, we're going to pay you out, pay your beneficiary out. So it's just based off of risk and how much risk a company will take on somebody.
Yeah. No, I definitely understand that. I remember growing up and when I went to college, man, I used to wild out, man. I used to party a lot. I used to have a blast, man. So my father came to me and he was like, hey, man, you got life insurance? Like, you need to get some life insurance on yourself, man. Because, I mean, you out here partying, you having a great time. And, when you young, you like, man, shit, why I need life insurance? Like, once I die, I'm gone. I'm dead. Like, what's the point of it? So that's why we wanted to highlight the importance of having life insurance because you don't want to leave your family in the bind. So,
right.
Because burying somebody right now is very expensive.
Yep. Average is about $8,000. Eight. I think national average is $8,000 to $10,000.
Yeah. And so then you don't want to leave a burden on your family. So I think it's very, very important in life insurance. And I know it's a lot of different type of life insurance as well. So could you briefly explain the difference between like whole life insurance versus like term life insurance?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. So that's a question that I get a lot from people because they don't know the difference because we haven't been properly educated and taught about life insurance. In our community, like when I tell you, I had never heard anything about life insurance until I was 20 something years old, man. Actually, until I was 27 when I had blood clots and I almost died. After I didn't die, God spared me and I was alive, man. Somebody came to me and said, you need to get life insurance, brother. I was like, life insurance? I never had thought about it. So learning, even then, nobody told me about whole life. They told me term. I didn't even know the difference at 27. So I'll explain the difference real quick. So with term life insurance is just what it says. It's a period of time. Term is usually 20 years and it's temporary, right? So in 20 years, if you get life insurance today and you're, let's just say 20, at 40 years old, you're going to have a few options. You can convert the term into whole life. You can renew your term at that new age. So it's going to cost more, or you can just let it term out and cancel it. Those are 3 options. Term doesn't give you any added value. It's just the death benefit for your beneficiary. If it's $500,000 when you sign up, it's $500,000 that goes to your beneficiary when you pass, right? With whole life though, it's totally different. Whole life is permanent insurance that goes your entire lifespan from the day you sign up for it until the day you die. It goes the whole life. So it's permanent. Number 2, it actually has a cash value benefit, which is called a living benefit that you can use while you're alive. So with whole life, you can actually build enough cash value to borrow the money and go and use it for something else, and it's your money, so you're not having to pay the bank back. You're not having to pay the loan company back, credit card, none of that. It's your money because you paid into it and it created cash value. That cash value grows at an interest rate of about 6 to 8% a year. So it's just like I look at whole life insurance like a stock and a savings account combined, because you're saving your money, but it's also growing like a stock would and just keep going up. You see what I'm saying? So it's one of the only asset classes where you're never going to lose money. You see what I'm saying? With whole life, because it's going to continue to grow. And then on top of that, man, your death benefit grows at I don't know the exact interest rate, but it just keeps growing on your every year as well. So your cash value grows at 6 to 8%, and your death benefit just grows year over year. So you might start out at 250,000, and in 50 years you might be at 600, 700,000. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. So that's whole life.
Wow. So that was awesome. So let me ask you, with our community being big on high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, sickle cells, everything, right? So what are some of the reasons you'll get denied life insurance?
That's a good one. So all of the reasons you name could be depending on how bad it is. You know what I mean? They have different levels. So like they might start out at a class 1, which is okay, but then at a class 7 or 8, that's bad. Like it's gonna be a different rating. So diabetes is one. Some people pass and they get approved. Some people get declined. I've seen people get declined for DUI. You know what I mean? Your driving history is a reflection of life expectancy. If they feel like, oh, you're a risk because you drink and drive. You've had a DUI. What's the likelihood of you killing somebody or getting killed? That's one. What else? Pancreatitis. I had a client get declined for pancreatitis 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh wow.
I had somebody get declined for a heart attack 7 years ago. I had somebody get declined for some kind. They just said habits. They just said medical records and personal habits. It doesn't really tell me what it is, but there's so many different things that underwriters look for, and it's like little triggers. Like I had somebody get declined a few weeks ago, man, for a chronic pain and prescribed medicine, right? So prescribed medication. So I called them up. I said, what's wrong with prescribed medication? They said this, and this really, I understand it because it makes sense. They said the more prescribed medication you take, pharmaceuticals, the shorter your life expectancy is. That kills you quicker. You see what I'm saying? And I don't think people that even take this stuff, y'all, they not thinking like, I'm just gonna keep taking this to keep me from whatever's happening in my body, but you're killing yourself quicker.
Right.
Wow. You don't even realize that because you're putting all of this stuff into your body. So man, it woke me up to a lot where I was like, we need to start healing ourselves first and start taking care of our bodies and our minds so we don't end up sick and dying at 60 and 70 years old. You know what I mean?
Right. Thanks. And I'm big on that, man. I look at health as well. So I'm super big on that. So I tell everybody, if you can heal yourself through what you put inside your system, man. So no, that's definitely great information about that, man. And I try to tell people, man, insurance. Okay, so another thing. So let's piggyback on that. So if you do get denied, is there any way that you can reapply and get the insurance, or it's just kind of like you just denied and there's no way you can kind of
So it is, but it is a couple things. It depends on what you got denied for, you know, and it depends on the risk factors, like as far as how old you are. If you're really old, they might not take that risk on you. They might give you a guaranteed. I have an older person that's like 79, so he can do guaranteed life. He's not going to get approved for term or whole life, but he can do guaranteed life, which means they give you 5 options: 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 25, 20,000, and 25,000. Those are the options. Now, between the ages of 50 and 80 years old, you get automatically approved, right? No health questions, no medical exams, no nothing. The only caveat is if you die within 2 years of anything other than an accident. So if it's natural causes, they give you back the premiums you paid plus 10%. You don't get the 25,000.
Right.
Because they said, well, something was already wrong with you and you was gonna die anyways. You know what I'm saying?
Gosh.
And they're like, here go your premiums you paid plus 10%, but they're not gonna give you the whole thing until after 2 years. You know, so that's the thing. But if you get denied, some companies will take you, but they're gonna charge you a lot more. You see what I'm saying? They're gonna tax you for that because you got declined.
Right.
That's crazy. I never knew that.
Yeah.
I never knew that. And this is something I even wrote in my notes. But I wanted to ask. As far as education into life insurance, what references would you recommend? Because this is something I never knew, you know, and I'm just starting, I'm just starting to find out about life insurance on this depth here, you know what I'm saying? Especially with having a wife and kids and homes and stuff like that. So what would you recommend as far as reference points and knowledge on these subjects?
Man, I've been reading a book called Live Your Life Insurance, and it's about all the different benefits of whole life. And I'm really studying that book because I want to learn all of the secrets that you can and the things that you can use to benefit off of life insurance. There's so many things, even with tax benefits, you know, like that nobody's going to tell you, where you can hide and use life insurance as a tax shelter, you know, where instead of you paying thousands of dollars in tax, put it in your life insurance. Now you don't have to pay it. And guess what? You're paying yourself because you're paying your policy. And it's stuff like that rich white folks been doing for centuries, man. Didn't tell nobody. It's you know, they're not going to tell us. They don't want us to know, because then we'll be on their level. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So we got to teach ourselves, and we got to read, man. We got to read. People don't want to
read, man.
Yeah. So if you don't read books, how you going to learn anything? If somebody don't tell you, if I don't come to you and tell you this, you'll never know it. You got to look it up in a book. Nobody's teaching this in school. They tell us stuff we don't need to know about in school instead of the stuff that's going to benefit us for real.
Right, man. That makes sense. That totally makes sense. And I tell people, man, insurance don't even cost that much either, man.
No,
you can afford that. Like people thinking that it costs thousands and thousands of dollars a month, but it really don't. So why is it important to have your own life insurance on the side, even if you get in life insurance through a job?
Man, listen, that's the best question right there. You know how many people I talk to on a weekly basis that say, "Oh, no, I'm good, JK. I don't need insurance. I got some at the job." I laugh. I'm like, at the job? I say, okay, all right, let me ask you this. What happened when you leave that job? I don't know. I mean, I guess I need life insurance. I say, yeah. You know what I mean? Like you don't just depend on what you have at the job. The other thing is 90% of people don't even know what they have through the job. I ask most people, I say, hey, what kind of insurance you got through your job? You know what? I don't know. I need to check. Yeah, you do need to check. If you died today, you don't even know what you got. Bro, it's
I was in that same boat, bro. I was in that same boat. Just working.
A lot of people are, because nobody thinks about it, and nobody even checks on it or thinks to ask until somebody like me comes to them and says, hey, what you have? Well, let me check on that. I got people now that's supposed to get back to me this week because they don't know what they got. They got to go look it up. You know, so I think having really, man, we need to have more awareness about this stuff, man. It's crazy. We need to have greater awareness and a better attention to life insurance, because the majority of people only think it's for death benefit, and that's why they say, oh, 100,000 is enough. Well, guess what? 100,000 is nothing, because what you're not thinking about is your your potential earned income over a lifetime, right? If you're alive for the next 30 years, who knows how much you can make, right? But your family does, if you died today, doesn't have that income for the next 30 years. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
That's called, and that's one of the things in the book called human life value. What is a human life value worth? What is that value? Nobody can tell you. Nobody might can say that you need $1 million worth of life insurance. Well, that's not true. You probably need more. You just don't know it yet. You see what I'm saying? Like there's no way to tell, because you can't put a cap on life insurance. I was told you can never have too much life insurance, because if you think about it, you can't put a amount on somebody's life.
Right. And that's a great point, because I was gonna bring that up too, man, because I'm a family man as well. So it's like I have insurance through my job, and I have my insurance on my side, because I had to learn about it too. I do a lot of reading. So once I started studying it and reading about it, and now I got like $1 million insurance and everything, and I'm like, man, I don't think $1 million enough, man. The way how the wealth gap is expanding, and just everything is super expensive, man. So that's a great point. And I tell everybody, you can't put a price on life, man, because you want to leave your family with a head start. And that's how the rich white people do anyways. It's like, oh well, shit, they just left me $5 million. That's the fucking head start. That's a big head start versus, oh, he just left me, 100,000. Shit, I got to spend 10, 20 on his funeral.
And then bills.
And then bills. You know what I'm saying? So that's a great point, man. So I'm glad you brought that up, man. I'm glad you gave us a reference as far as a great book to read as well. And I just love for people to reach out to you, man. What you think, Mike?
Man, I learned a lot in we Kent people, so that's crazy. That and the biggest thing is what made me want to ask questions about life insurance was I found out at work, you know what I'm saying, a lot of the guys that don't make no money compared to what I make, riding around with big trucks and they got land and everything else. And I'm like, how the hell they got all this? And they pop out and left them some life insurance to their mom or whatever. And I'm like, well, I didn't never get that meeting. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know it was like that. Because everybody didn't own a plantation back then either, but they had people that worked on them and got that life insurance too. That's something they don't teach as well. So the generational wealth benefits, I think needs to be pushed more in the Black community. Don't you agree?
Man, absolutely. I actually was helping a young couple, early 20s, probably like 24, 25 or whatever, and they just had a baby 2 weeks ago. I talked to the wife and I said, hey, we need to talk to, I talked to your husband a few months ago before the baby was born about getting the baby some life insurance. And she was like, yeah, that's what my grandparents did for me when I was a baby. I said, what? I was like, really? Like, you have people, these white folks' grandparents are buying them policies as kids. And then when they grow up, they have trust funds.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they actually have trust funds that at whatever age, 21, 18, 21, 25, 30, they can get money out. So they told me that they're possibly going to pay for their child's life insurance with their trust money that their grandparents gave them years ago. Think about how crazy that is. They're not really spending no money. You see what I'm saying? Like if people don't understand that we playing a game here, man, this is a game. I keep trying to tell people we got to wake up and understand that if this was a race, it's literally we're still at the starting line, or maybe not even on the track, right?
I don't even think we got no shoes
already
on.
started running. You see what I'm saying? Like, and we not even awake enough to see that, y'all, we're losing this, and we can't never catch up unless we do what we need to do to get there, man. We can't depend on nobody else. We can't wait on nobody else. We can't trust the government. We can't trust the school. They're not in it to help us, right? The government, you know what I'm saying? They're not telling us anything that's going to benefit us. They give us enough to keep us, I guess, satisfied, maybe.
Right.
We'll never get there.
No, we'll never get there, man. I tell everybody, man, knowledge is key. That's just the biggest thing possible, man. And they always say, man, if you want to hide something from Black people, man, just put it in the book.
Oh, yeah.
They ain't gonna read, man. So this was a great conversation, man. I definitely learned a lot as well, man. Because I know you being a businessman and a family man as well, and I know insurance is very, very, very important in our community, man. Especially the way that we take care of ourselves as Black people.
Right.
With our health and you can just go all the way back to the slavery days. The way that we eat and the way that we just carry ourselves, and it's kind of like a second language when you start talking about health in our community, man. And
Right.
and now when you start throwing health insurance, I mean life insurance in, I think that everybody should know that. I mean, from the youngest to the oldest, everybody to have the knowledge of life insurance in the way that you can benefit off of it, man. So I definitely applaud you for learning this and teaching your seeds and teaching your community as well, man. And I want to know how can people reach you if they have more and more so they can get more information.
Yeah, so the best thing to do, man, people can reach me on Instagram and follow me and connect with me, and also DM me. It's live, LIVE _ the number 2 and create. Live to create on Instagram, and or I would say email me at J Kelly KELLY 00 at ft.newyorklife.com. So you can put that on the thing too, and people can email me on my work email or hit me up on Instagram. But man, look, I just want to help people. That's why I love when people do things like this, because it gives me the opportunity to really explain, because I can tell somebody something, but when I get a chance to explain to them why it's so important and why we need it, that light bulb kind of goes off, and it's like, okay, I see. Imagine if 20 years ago you started with a whole life policy, what you'll have now. You know what I'm saying? Not in your 30s when I'm just learning about this stuff. Right. And I'm just like, dang, if I'd have known about this 20 years ago, or if my parents would have even thought about it and got me something as a kid, I'd be so much better off, man. People going in debt now to have to do what? Pay for college if you want to go to college. But guess what? What if you had a whole life policy that paid for college? You see what I'm saying? And gave you a death benefit. I literally did we had a webinar the other day for work that was talking about how you could use from a child, baby, as when they're born, by the time they turn 18, their college is paid for, no matter what state in the country. I was like, what? Wow. Bro, it's all these techniques and things they use that I'm learning now that I wish, more people understood and actually cared about. So, man, I'm trying to change the narrative.
I got one more question, and it just came to me. If you done been convicted of crimes, that's something that will deter them from giving you a policy?
That's a good question, man. I'm trying to think, one person, I think I had one person that said that he had got a charge or he was charged. I don't even know if he was convicted yet, but he told the underwriter that he had been charged with 2 misdemeanors, right? That was, let's say, on like a Thursday. By Friday, when I sent the because they wanted a message to know what the charge was, and I sent the message back the next day, there was like decline. I was like, dang, like what? Like I'm thinking, did they really decline this man for 2 misdemeanors? It was like something small. It wasn't no breaking and entering. It wasn't no robbery. It was something small, right? I forget what it was. But anyway, they declined him. And I was like, wow. So I don't know to what extent the insurance companies look at charges and crimes. I don't know, but I know that they do look at them in a negative light, because somehow they probably think, oh, well, maybe this person's started with this crime, but he might go to this crime and then this crime, and then their life expectancy is going to be short. Then this, I don't know, that's crazy. Man. Yeah. I just know it's hard once you get a record to really get on the right track. You know what I'm saying? So I commend anybody that been to prison and cleaned up themselves, started a business or got a good job taking care of themselves, because it's hard to do it after that, man.
That's dope, man. I appreciate you so much, Jay, man. We also gonna get you on for the Forex stuff and also some stock stuff. Cause you are a guru in that. I'm your Daniel son and you Mr. Miyagi on that Forex.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
To me, you know what I'm saying? So we really appreciate you, bro. We really appreciate you.
I appreciate y'all for having me, man. And if y'all know anybody that ever needs anything or got questions, please send them my way. You can give them my number, my email, Instagram, whatever, and just tell them to hit me up.
Oh yeah, man, no doubt, man. I definitely appreciate you coming on the show, man, and explaining more about life insurance, man. And thank you so much. I'll be reaching out to you as well, man. And hey, thank everybody for tuning in to the I Don't Even Know Bro podcast with your host King Guy and your other host Mike Chacho. What up, Mike Chacho?
Hey, love, man. Everybody eat.
Yeah, man. Love y'all, man. Peace, man. Thanks.
All right.
Jonathan. Yep.
Brothers, man. And this how we live, man. That war boy life. Huh?
Lay back chillin',